What's going on, y'all? This is Mike Brown, and I just wanted to say I appreciate y'all so much for tuning into this week's episode of The Art of Letting Go. This week we have a special guest on the show, James Lott Jr., and we talk about art, being artists, and his new show that I'm starring in, Fairview Heights. If you all would like to support the show, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. Also, leave a comment wherever you listen to it to let other people know what you think. Also, you can subscribe on Patreon. We got some merch, and you can subscribe. Yo, what up? This is Mike Brown, and this is The Art of Letting Go. Today, I have a special guest in the building. I'm sure the audience is probably familiar with you by now. Like, this is like your, oh my gosh, like fourth or fifth time.
Fifth time, yes, over the years, yes. Okay.
So
yes.
you are kind of a regular special guest on this show.
For you, of course.
I appreciate that. Would you mind introducing yourself to the people?
I am where all James Lott Juniors are. I'm James Lott Jr., head of JLJ Media, my media company. Also head of the Super Organizer, my organizing company. I do multimedia, I do organizing, and today is my 7th anniversary as a certified life coach.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
How are you feeling today?
I was telling you before we came on, a little overwhelmed, a little tired. I mean, Friday I get my second shot, my Moderna shot. So I'm taking the weekend off for any side effects, possible side effects. So I'm kind of hoping I don't have any side effects so I can actually enjoy the weekend. I mean, it felt good clearing the schedule. Like, screw everybody, I'm clearing the schedule. I'm going to take time off because I'm just so busy. I don't have days off anymore. So This will be my 3 days I'll have off. And so I'm going to stay hydrated like I did last time. I had a sore arm for a day and it went away, but I got the extreme fatigue, which didn't bother me. I slept most of the weekend. So that was fine with me. I slept in the garden, I slept in the bed, I slept on the front porch. I didn't care where I was, I just fall asleep. That was fine. And I said, but that was the worst I got. That was it. And that's what I got. So I'm like, if I get that, that's fine, I'll just relax. But hopefully I don't get anything. So I'm hoping it'll be fine. But it's just a lot of work. I have a lot of blessings happening at the same time of just with more money, more problems, as Puffy said.
Yeah.
As I age myself, as I date myself, back in the 90s,
That's
Puffy,
how you know.
Daddy, P. Diddy, whoever he is.
That's what I was gonna say. You know your age by what you call him.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, I do know him as Sean. He does know who I am. That's another story. But he knows of me. We have not met yet, but we have people in common. Cool. He said my name once. I was like, oh my God, he said my name. I admire. No, I know this is a whole different tangent, but I do admire him for what he created. He wasn't the best rapper.
Yeah.
The best producer. But he did craft some real hits. Real hits. And then he created an empire, first with clothes, which really were for Black folks, for everybody, but for Black folks. And then creating TV shows and TV projects. I mean, he's really built an empire, and he's my age. We're the exact same age. So I admire that. I totally admire that. And he loves cheesecake like I do in Brooklyn. We love cheesecake.
And it's funny you say that because I was talking to someone yesterday and they were telling me how much they didn't like Diddy because of how much he used other people. And to some extent, I do kind of understand that, which for the same reasons that you admire him, I admire him too. So I guess there's always like duality in everybody. But
everybody's not perfect, first of all.
Yeah.
And you have to remember, these people are young. They make the same argument about Madonna. Madonna, of course, is the queen. I mean, she's the person who invented reinvention. I mean, she's the person who every single song, every single album was different than the last. But they kept saying, well, she would pick these producers and use them, and then next you go to somebody else. Like, well, on some level, you kind of have to do that on some level. I mean, you work with what's going on, especially when you're in the public eye and you're in culture. You have to go with the culture. So if a new producer's out that's hot, you go with them. I mean, at some level. I mean, everybody has to do it on some level. So when I say use people, some people they feel being used, but it's not them being used. It's just they feel that way. And some he may have done that, but he was young. I mean, we're all we don't know everything we know now. I mean, there's people I've done wrong in the past, and I'm like, wish I could apologize to them. I mean, I was just young and trying to figure things out, and that happens. But I think I still admire a person who still built an empire, and he really did, accentuate our culture. I mean, it wasn't like he was like trying to be somebody else or whatever. He really did do stuff for us. He gave out opportunities for a lot of people too. So for everybody he dropped or stepped on, he also promoted and put out there.
Yeah. And it's like I said, all this is kind of tying into what I wanted to talk to you about today, because I watched this James Baldwin recording on YouTube, and it was about the artist's integrity. And it spoke so loud to me, just a lot of the things he was saying. Like I felt like I related to everything that he was talking about. But the biggest thing that stands out to me that I wanted to talk to you about was just what the artist's life truly looks like, because we do kind of romanticize what it means to be an artist. And I guess I kind of
It's not pretty. It's not pretty. It's not romantic. It's not romantical. I didn't make up a word for you. It's not. I mean, to be very honest, it can be a lonely life sometimes because you're busy creating, depending on who you are and what you're creating. If you're a painter or a songwriter or author, sometimes you're solitary as you're creating the art. So you're away from everybody. Other things are this business, there's the business of creativity that's mixed in with just creativity in life. The arts are great, but getting into the business of the arts is a whole other story. So there's a lot of struggle. We talk about the starving artist. There's a lot of starving artists. I mean, it really is trial and error, trying to get in, trying not to get in. How do you get in? How do you do this? How do I get this noticed? Trying to get noticed, trying to get your work noticed. It's a little easier to put it out there than it was before.
Yeah.
But it isn't, I was in a band 20 years ago called Mangina. we were Fleetwood Mac on steroids, basically. That's what we were. We call ourselves. I was one of the lead singers, played drums. But back then, there wasn't any. MySpace hadn't come out just yet. No YouTube. We couldn't put out music on our own. You could, but you have to run a studio. There's a lot of hard stuff you got to do to put out music and play gigs. But now, as I'm a musician and artist, and I just do it from my home studio, put it on Spotify. Hi, everybody, I'm a star. I kind of thing. It's like nowadays it's kind of easier to put stuff out, but it's still promote.
Yeah.
Who sees your stuff? There's a lot of disappointment in the business of creativity. I think the actual creativity part's fun. I think that part's fun when you're creating something and you're really into it and everything, but you can't mention one without the other, I think.
Yeah. How do you, like, what does your day look like as like just being an artist? Because you are a multi-hyphenated artist, and we'll touch on that a little more because I have feelings about that for sure. But yeah, what does your day look like?
It's different every day, which I love. In all seriousness, it's every day my life is completely different. I'm much more relaxed than ironically, as I have more stuff coming, I'm much more relaxed than I was before when it comes to creativity. The creativity comes whenever it comes. It's divine intervention. It's from God. That's how I believe. And it comes through me sometimes at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Sometimes it comes through me at 12 p.m. Right now, I just finished writing 2 scripts of a show that I just created all of a sudden out of nowhere. I mean, when it comes, I stop everything if I can and try to get it out.
Yeah.
So, for example, I may wake up and okay. So, folks, I'm a calendar person. Everything's my calendar. I have one online. This is my life. I have everything all in there. So, all of the stuff I have to do is on these calendars.
Yeah.
So that could be my organizing work, TV shows I got to do, interviews, whatever, that's on there. So in between all of that, in betwixt all of that, is where the creativity part comes in. So I may have 4 interviews one day, then be done. Like after this, I'm done. chances are I'll be finished. I'll still be writing this new series I'm writing. I have another series I have to finish one episode to send off to somebody. So I'll probably do that, and that'll be it for me today. But I don't know. At 11 o'clock at night, I may get a song idea. Mm-hmm. And then I start writing the song down, and I hum the melody, and I send it to my producer and say, this is what I came up with. Like tomorrow, I have a new song coming out called Procrastination. That's coming out tomorrow, available everywhere. Okay. But that song, Procrastination, came out of me like at 2 a.m. I got the melody first. I wrote the lyrics in like 20 minutes. Went my little voice recorder on my phone. Just kind of recorded some vocals, said, how's the sound? My producer next day was like, send me something more serious. I did, and then we started working on it. But I was like, I mean, I'm thinking I'll be done at around 11 o'clock tonight, but who knows? It may be 12, maybe 1. It's divine intervention. Yeah. So in between all the things I have to do, then I try to squeeze in. I'm always writing. I mean, back in the day when I was on the trains all the time between jobs, I'd run the train.
Yeah.
And headphones on, I'm writing. It could be a script, a song, a poem, a short story, an idea. I just get it out when I can. So it's kind of mixed in. So every single day, my days start off with meditation first, and then peeing or whatever. And then I go on to whatever that day brings. I look at my schedule first, and I go from there. But the creativity is sandwiched in throughout the schedule.
That's cool.
That's your question.
And a question for myself that I want to ask is, how do you complete projects? Because I know you work on a lot of things. How do you decide like what you want to complete first, or, you know, when this has to be done by? How do you make the time to complete your work?
That's a very good question, because the series that Mike Brown is on, called Fairview Heights, is coming out. That actually, I completed writing that 7 or 8 months ago. Wow. But I hadn't gotten to it yet. So it's one of those things where I usually will write till my hand falls off. And if the ideas in my brain, I'm fully immersed in whatever that is, whether it's a song or two, a short story, a book. I wrote a book one day in 2 days. I get it out. I'm this diarrhea. I'm just getting it out of my brain. And I usually write. And so then when I'm done, I see where I'm at. Now I will have a little outline. Say, maybe I'll think, I want to do an 8 episode series. Can I write 8 episodes in one sitting, or can I do it in 2 sittings? But I don't stress out about it. I'm just kind of like, I have tentative dates, but I really don't. I mean, the only ones that were concrete were the Christmas shows. I had to make sure those had to come out at Christmas. So it's like, I need those done by November so I can cast by, there were certain ones that were kind of like you had to be there. But most of my time, it's just, I have the creativity come out first. And then I only write when I feel like it, when I'm into that project. Okay. I gave myself permission to do that. So there are some projects that aren't completed. There are some projects that are completed. I have over 100 songs written that I just haven't recorded yet. So I do have stuff, but it's nice to complete something. I always encourage people to complete something, because even if you don't put it out or anything, work towards it. But I only work towards completing stuff if I'm into it.
Yeah.
It makes any sense. So, if I'm not really into, there's just one series I'm going back and forth on. It's called The Accidental Governor. And I keep putting it up, putting it up, putting it down, picking it up, but I'm sticking with it. there's something about it that I think there's something there, but it's taking me the longest time to complete this 8 episode series. I'm like at episode 4, I think. I just can't, I get into it for a minute, I'm like, I'm done. I get into it again, I'm done. It'll be a finish eventually, but it is very important to complete something, whether it's small or large. You need to complete it. And see, once you start completing things, it's like almost a domino effect. Then you feel like, I want to complete this, I want to complete that, or I want to go on to the next thing. When you complete something, you can go on to the next thing. It's kind of like you have to figure, if you keep just writing forever or starting stuff forever and nothing's finished, you have a problem. You should be compelled to want to go back and finish something. I say, no, I have no problem putting it down for a while, stepping away from it. But I hope at some point you'll get back to it and then you'll go, okay, I'm out. I like having a product out there. That's my motivation. Yeah. I love saying that I have 40 books out there. I have 40 books. I have 7 albums. I have 6 EPs. I have now 6 series out. I love being able to say that. And it's an ego thing. I love being able to say that. That I know I did. I mean, I'm very honest about that. I have 5 series that have been completed. 5. And they've all done well for me. And I almost want to cry because I'm just like, I wrote 5. I mean, I wrote 4. I didn't write the first one, but I wrote 4 series. But the first one too, I greenlit it. 5 series of mine. People actually listened to them. They checked them out. But before that, I completed them. It means that we wrote them, I directed them, we acted them out. You know, you've done some with me, and then I edited them and I put them up. And he's like, that's like the I get high off of that. Like, that's the ego boost. It's like, I'm not just talking about this stuff. I actually completed it. And that's crazy talk. Like, it's completed. So I can look back and go, if I don't do anything else tomorrow, I have 5 series that are done. Okay, they're out there.
Right. Do you feel any anxiety in releasing things, or have you ever felt anxiety in releasing things?
A little bit. I think you should always be a little nervous. I mean, it's just because they're like your babies. You're putting them off to school, for the first day of school.
I'm sorry for cutting you off, but
please, go ahead.
How do you keep from letting the nervous stop you?
Oh, because I've been in the business for a lot. I've been in business 14 years. I've been around, and I'll be 52 next month. I've been around a long time. I think after a while, you just learn not everyone's going to like your stuff. Someone gave me a bad review yesterday on one of my shows. Like, he just looks like he's reading from the teleprompter or something. I'm not. I know I'm not. But they didn't like my style. Okay, sure, they didn't like my style. I mean, they have a right not to like it. So I think once I learned that some people are going to like it, some aren't. Some are going to nitpick it, and some aren't. I'm not putting out perfect product anyway. It's not perfect. I'm learning as I go along also.
Yeah.
So I just kind of recognize all of that. Then I'm calmer about it. I'm like, plus I'm busy. I put it out. I'm on to the next project. I don't have time to be worried about people's shenanigans. I don't have time to, I don't read all the comments. I mean, anyway. I mean, I read some, but to me, I can stand. I'm not going to release anything I can't stand by. So whatever I've released, I stand by it. And whether you like it or not, that's fine. Your choice. But I can still stand by it and go, I still worked hard on this. I believe in my actors. It was good. I did what or my songs. That's the most nerve-wracking, is putting out songs.
Yeah.
Because acting stuff is a little different. But songs are kind of like, your voices suck, so your music sucks, and the lyrics suck. They can tear it apart. Or your style sucks. I love music so much, and I've been having you've done a few songs with me also, and I've had a great journey in this music thing, almost 6 years. I've been doing it actually this way, not counting my previous life, and it's been fun. And I have an audience who likes it. I mean, there's an audience. I got another royalty check, kids, so that was kind of nice. So somebody bought it or spun it.
Yeah.
And so I feel like I just focus on them. Everything I put out, I focus on the ones who do want it. Who are like, when's that next book, James? When's that next song?
Yeah.
When's that next episode? I focus on them. And that helps me not put it out.
And as an artist, do you feel like they have to be specifically defined? Like, how people talk a lot of that, like your target audience and this and that. Like, what is your target audience? Like, do you feel like as a creator that you have to have that so defined?
Well, it depends, because I'm a multi-hyphenate. For like my shows, yes, each show has a target audience.
Okay.
I mean, my soap audience. My Hallmark Channel stuff, Hallmark audience. I mean, like, there's for some things. Then I have other things that are very broad. My regular interviews, like, Extra Connections, all that stuff, those are just broad. My left-handed show, left-handed people. Like, so I do have certain, yes, it does important, but in the general sense, like my music, it's for everybody. I blanket. I don't feel the sense of I'm making this for 40 to 60 year olds or 20. I don't think that way. I put it out and see where it lands. And usually the demographics, the analytics will tell me.
Yeah.
For example, my first EP I ever put out with a group called Chog. We put songs that we collaborate together. The 5-song EP. I put it out, and what I found out was I made a children's album. Didn't plan on it. The kids responded to the songs and the lyrics They were easy enough. This group is a quirky dance group, and I just write and do lead singing. And all my nieces and nephews, all my friends' kids bought it up. And I was like, I made a children's album. I did not realize I made a kids album. I made it for just some kind of fun thing. And so that wasn't my target audience. My audience was everybody liking it. Fine. My second album, Speaking with Strings, I did with an orchestra. I'm very proud of that album. Turns out a lot of older people love that album. To this day, one of my friends who's 70-something years old was like, James, you had that song, Looking for Love. I love that album with the orchestra. It's so beautiful. They love it. And I was like, I made it for everybody, but it turns out the older crowd loved that album.
Yeah.
And so I put out for everyone. So I didn't target, but when I hear certain groups, when it starts leaning that way, then yes, I start to market that way a little bit, of course. I go, okay, kids, got a new album out by Chog. Our second EP was a hit with them too. So like, it's, once I find that it's starting to go, I may market that direction, but I still market to everybody. I mean, I kind of don't feel, I mean, and color too, I don't look at color. Again, certain shows I have, yes, it's for that. But in general, I'm all over the place myself. So I feel like it's just for everybody. Whoever likes it, likes it.
Do you find it challenging to separate the creating from like the business part of it?
Good question. I think the business is me. I mean, I think everything is me at this point.
Yeah.
For me. I mean, I just kind of at this point, it's all, especially since COVID, I've been home. There's no separation. Mm-hmm. Like before, I go to a studio to do all the interviews. Now the interviews, I have a ring light over here. It's like, I mean, everything's here. So the wall has been collapsed. So my life literally is, I do an interview, then I'm mopping the floor. Yeah. I do an interview, I'm changing my laundry. I do an interview, I'm using the air fryer to make fried chicken. Like whatever, I'm like, it's completely now melded together. How do I feel about that? I'm not sure yet. It's kind of like, right now, this is how it is.
I think it's an important representation. Like as I'm listening to you, I think it's a very important representation to what the true artist life is. I think going to the studio, those are the things that people glamorize about the things that we all do in whatever medium we work in. And I think I'm starting to embrace that more, like, not looking at myself in that, because when I was younger, I feel like I used to look at myself in that space. Like I wanted to be a producer. I wanted to be a rapper. I wanted to be these things instead of recognizing like I am being these things while still, doing whatever it is I'm doing in my life. I'm teaching, I'm working at Nike. Those are still part of my artist life. And I wish that was something I knew when I was younger.
I always say in my practice, always go from I wish to I am. Stop saying I wish. Say I am. And for me, I am art.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. My brain, my being, my hand, my left hand, what I write with, type with, it's all extension of the art. I'm art. I just can't help it. I walk and talk art. I watch art. I create art. In my garden, I'm creating art in the garden. I mean, my hair, I'm trying to create art in my hair. Like everything is art for me. So now when I hear people say, I'm not my job or I'm not my this, I get that when it's not your passion. Yeah. This is my passion. I am my job.
Right, yeah.
I am the product. It's James Lott Jr. That's the product.
Right.
That's just all look at ourselves like that. I mean, we have to look at ourselves that way. I can't separate it. There's time off. There is time away. There is hiatuses, as we say in the business, but it's still me. I mean, I'm not going to separate it. I am the artist. I am the art.
Right. I feel the exact same way. And I think, like you said, people being in spaces where they don't feel like they belong or should be, it does make it hard for you to feel like, like I'm not being my full self. Cause I definitely have felt that in jobs and stuff where it's like, this ain't the job where I'm supposed to be. And I feel like I'm neglecting my creative self. And, Yeah, and I think I also want to share like it can be done in in a job if you depending on how you look at it. If it's a job that's inspiring you, because I feel like my job inspires me to do other things, so it doesn't really feel like just go and do something that I really don't have to do, you know?
See, the problem is for most people, you get a job. It's not really your passion.
Yeah,
So you're always trying to run from that.
yeah,
Your life is always about running from that gig, whether it's 9 to 5 or 11 to 2 or graveyard shift, whatever. You're always trying to find a life outside of that. That's your goal. Your goal is the weekends. Your goal is those 2 days off a week or split days off a week. Your goal is that 2 week vacation. Your goal is retirement. That's what most people go through in many of their jobs. There's not there's no synergy or anything altogether. It's supposed to be it's my life here, have my life here. So
yeah,
the artist, a true artist, an artist who gives into himself or herself or itself or they self, you know, their gender pronouns, when they receive that they are the artist in their art, they're not running from anything.
right, yeah,
So how they see the world, how you view the world, how you conceptualize things, how you handle things, it's all art
yeah,
related. It's always kind of how you look at food, how you look at this, how you look at your friendships. It's just you're not running from anything. And a lot of times, as us artists, we're using whatever pain, things that we're trying to run from. We're actually it's coming out through our art for a lot of us.
yeah,
I'm writing a story that's based on my life a little bit, and I'm writing this. I mean, songs come out. When I came out of Bell's Palsy a few years ago, that first couple albums, I was writing about that experience. So I'm exercising that the pain. Where in other places, like I had jobs where I just would drink every night. I got off work at 5, had a hard day at work, I need a drink, and I had a bottle of wine a night, and then wait for Friday and go, yeah, it's Friday, and then Monday and Sunday night dreading to go back to work on Monday. I
yeah.
mean, that's I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I just think, I wouldn't.
I
I
agree
just
with
would
you.
not wish. I
I
mean,
agree with you.
that is horrible. I mean, that's just a
Yeah,
horrible way to live. So for me, I get to wake up and go tomorrow. I get to write a play. I get to record with people and when I saying my words on that night, and um, I get to do an interview with a famous star. Or I get to, it's a lot of things. Like I get to be with my producer, go over the latest songs we recorded. Like that's a blessing. I mean, I'm so grateful, so very grateful for that.
how important do you think vulnerability is to art?
Well, I guess it's up to the person. I mean, I don't want to blanket and say everybody should be vulnerable. I mean, it depends on your art. I guess it depends on your art. For me, because I am art, I am vulnerable. I had a co-host who told me that a show she did for my network, I won't tell you, but you have to watch it. She cried on camera first time. And she said to me, she felt so weird. And she goes, but James, you cry all the time on camera. I said, I do. I cry. I'm a big cry baby. I'm a big soft, big black man softy. And something hits me. I'm like, oh my life. I don't care. I don't care. And Oprah was the same way. Oprah with her ugly cry back and she cry. I don't care. I show my emotions. And I think people love that.
Yeah,
They want to see somebody. They don't want a robot. They want to see somebody feel something, and it gives them permission to possibly cry too at home where they're listening or watching. I think for me, vulnerability is all about me. That's what I do. I share, as you know, I share all parts of my life if I can. I have no problem with that. I think people, my audience, and people who are becoming my audience need it. They need to see someone who's well-rounded enough and who's not afraid. I have a friend who did a piece on not saying I'm sorry when you start crying. And this piece is like 10 minutes long. It's not up anywhere anymore, but he did it. It's so awkward to watch because he looks at the camera. He tells this really deep story that he relates to, like going to college, being the first one to college in his family, whatever. It's a really deep story. Being a person of color, and he starts to cry, and he says, "I'm not going to say I'm sorry." He lets the crying come through, and to watch it, it's so hard to watch. but it's like so necessary because we always go, I'm sorry. She's like, I'm sorry. I don't mean that to be, I don't know why are you doing that? It's an emotion. And that's my co-host. It's okay to get emotional. It shows you have a heart, which means the audience will now draw into that interview even more. Then the barrier of the camera, of the Spotify, whatever, now goes away because now they're seeing you be a human having a conversation. So for my art, I don't censor myself. I just do it, and then I decide if I'll release it or not. Let's do a story, but I make sure I get it out. I have to get it out. It's almost like I said, it's like diarrhea or throwing up or something. I have to regurgitate it, at least have it on paper or in song or in a story, and then I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't want cancer inside of me. It's cancer to hold stuff in.
Yeah.
And men are anorexic emotionally. You know, we have to find a way to deal with our emotions. We're being told don't. You shouldn't. That's not a man. A man doesn't deal with emotions. So you hold it in, but it doesn't really go anywhere. And so for me, I don't think it's less manly to be vulnerable, especially in art. I think the best art comes out of vulnerability. That's just me. But everybody has their own way of doing art, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. And speaking of vulnerability in art and your art, I want to talk about your latest show, Fairview Heights, which I am in. And
Which several people turned down because they were afraid to play the gay part. And these folks were actually gay or questioning or whatever. And I was like, it's an act. It's not you. It's an acting role. I mean, I don't know what that's about, but I respect them. But I didn't. I just like, okay, whatever. I just didn't go for it. I said, it's your career, so it's you want. But I felt it's an important role. I just really felt it in my heart. So I was like, the right person got it, which is Mike Brown.
I appreciate that. And I feel just reading, I really connected to that role. Just when you told me so can you give us a little backstory on what the show is about?
It's slightly based, so almost not autobiographical, but cool, some stuff's in there, some licenses in there. No, I wanted to do it's a twofold show because it's called Unlikely Friendship in a Changing Neighborhood is the tagline. It's set in Inglewood where I live, and Inglewood is changing. If you know anything about Inglewood, California, folks, it's completely changed. The whole area and all the surrounding areas, Hyde Park, Leimert Park, Baldwin, it's all changing. So I thought that's a backdrop I wanted to talk about. I'm very much about Inglewood. Fairview Heights is the spinoff of Manchester Avenue, which Mike Brown experiences on also. And Manchester Avenue is another part of Inglewood also, by the Forum and the new stadium, SoFi Stadium. So I decided to showcase Inglewood in a way that's different. Not Inglewood up's no good, Inglewood in the hood. I didn't want to do all that. I wanted to show Inglewood as this emerging city that has things that people who are not hood,
right?
You know, they just happen to live there, or whatever. That's me. I can be hood if I need to be, but you don't have to be all that. So it's about a straight Latinx man and a gay Black man who are best friends from high school, who grew up in the neighborhood, and it's their friendship. And the gay man is very straight-laced, square, a little conservative, while the straight guy is flamboyant and just has a good time and is a party extrovert. I thought I'd change it all up in its ear. And it's gonna be a very interesting show. 10 episodes. It has some interesting twists and turns, but the friendship's at the forefront. It's about their friendship and how they get themselves in situations. And here's not scripts yet. There's some fun situations, and I'm about to send out the first episode to you to actually look at. And there's a racist situation that happens that actually happened to me in real life, and my brother-in-law, who's a straight Mexican man, and we're really close. So it's one of those things where I took that story and kind of put it in to this one. So you deal with race, they deal with the neighborhood, they're dealing with sexuality. Later in the series, he will get a boyfriend, but he seems a little shady, and so the next girlfriend comes from him. So it's it's all drama. But the whole point was I wanted to showcase, and all my shows are about diversity. I wanted to showcase a different kind of relationship that wasn't stereotypical.
And that is what I appreciate about it, because it feels to be, at least for me, just one narrative of a gay black man. So to have the opportunity to play that role of something different, like I really appreciate that.
And I want to say out loud, because I've got some criticism. I want to say out loud, whatever portrayals they want to put on TV, it's fine. I mean, it's fine. And if gay black men want to play certain things, it's fine. My thing is I need diversity of it, though. I don't want it because a lot of the larger world thinks that all gay black men are sassy, big, flamboyant queens who wear weaves, and no, we all don't. None of us watch Drag Race. I haven't watched Drag Race since season 2. I don't watch it. I mean, there's things that are fun, but that's okay too. I would narrow it down. I know a lot of the queens. I know them. They're great. I love them. But like the thing is, it's not about the same thing. We need diversity. I talk about it all the time. Why can't I see more portrayals of this? Well, then write them, James. I always tell myself, then that's what you're supposed to do. Then you write them, and you write the experience you want to see. And so for me, I want well-rounded. Now I have another show I'm writing where the guy is flamboyantly gay, like super flamboyantly gay, and that fits that narrative of that story. So to me, it's not about me shunning that side or going, I don't like feminine. I think anybody who's feminine in the world as a guy has more strength than I do, because it's very hard out there. I bow to them that how their courage to be who they are fully in that form, it's tough. It's not, not at all. It's tough at all. But also on my network, I have a trans woman writer and actress on there.
Wow.
It's Emmy Morgan. I've always been a supporter of just diversity as normality, is my saying. And I just think it's one of those things where I love my trans women and my trans men. I love them. And I have my white men and I have my white women, and I love them. And I have my Mexican, Latina, and I have my Indian, and I have Iranian. I pick people who are, have no ego, who are easy to work with. You worked with a bunch of them. I did shows that were all black. You were on Mama's Ballot. It's all black. And I had folks get mad at me, and I'm like, why are you getting mad at me? You can have an all black cast. What's wrong with that? And as you know, we laugh all the time on that set. Every time we get together, it's like, especially Tony Moore, he's crazy. We all end up laughing, but it's like but I want to tell those stories too, because as you know, those characters you play Devon, you play on that, you play on there. Each of those characters are different types of black also, and that's what I want to show also. A character Jafari, played by Flo Boys, is a very different type of black. Versus Robert Waithe, who plays Byron. He's a very different, like this. It's all these, everything's different. It's all just differences. And, I do the whimsical drama, it's everything, but I want to make sure everybody, I have a black Santa. I did it on purpose. I just decided I'm going to turn on its ear and find the best people for these roles, no matter what they are or what they identify as, and we'll go from there.
That's cool. That's really cool. Something I just thought to ask you was, what is like one piece of advice or knowledge you can share with upcoming, like people that are kind of in the beginning of their artist journeys, to just kind of block out like just the outside chatter?
It's hard. That's my advice. Life is hard, kids. It ain't easy. You're gonna have distraction. You're gonna have extraction. You're gonna have people tell you all kinds of stuff. They're gonna tell you, what are you doing? Why are you doing it? Who do you think you are? There's a lot that come at you. It's not gonna let up. That's my advice. I know. I don't want to sugarcoat anything to anybody, because life is just not fair. It just really isn't. You have to find the strength. I can't tell you how to do it. You got to find the strength to continue the artist journey. You have to find a way. You have to find what works for you, and works best for you, because the world, media, your friends, your well-meaning family members, yourself, the chatter is always going to be there. It's still there with me. It's still there. I hear things here and there once in a while. Like, why are you doing that, James? You're fucking 50-some years old. And I'm learning to say, no, this brings me joy. So that's how I get through life. All these things that I do make me smile. I like to smile, folks. And I think you like to. I like to laugh. I like to feel good. These are natural drugs to me. I don't do drugs. These are my drugs. My drugs are writing one. And this is one episode of a script. This is one episode. I wrote this in like 15 minutes. This makes me happy. I'm very happy with this. I'm very proud of it. It made me feel good that my ideas are flowing. When it flows, I feel great. It's a drug. I mean, it really is. But people out there, when you're just starting out, try to stay the course, try to be to yourself, but just remember, people are always going to be, they don't treat art the same way they do politics, education, and other professions. They just don't. They think art is frivolous. They think art is just not as important. The arts are very important. And we need artists to continue to show their vision of what they see in the world. We need their commentary on the world. We need their spirit on the world. We can't silence them. We can't stunt them. We need them whatever way they want to showcase it, whether through spoken word or painting or music or acting. We need that point of view. You may not think you do, but you do need it. We need it. It needs to go out in the air, in the ether. So I think, but people don't treat art. So if you're a young artist, people are just not going to understand, and let them not understand. It's fine. I don't know if my family knows what the fuck I do. They're like, some comes out and go, you did all that? I go, what the fuck do you think I'm doing? Play with myself? I'm literally working all the time. But they don't care. They don't ask me what I'm doing. They don't ask about how my day is. They don't ask anything. They really don't. They don't give a shit. But then they see some finished product, go, oh, that's so nice. Well, yeah, bitch, it is nice. I worked fucking 10 days on it, so of course it's nice. Oh, like, they don't know what the fuck I do. And they did it. They were surprised, like, wow, you did that. I'm like, I've been doing it for 14 years. Like, where the fuck have you been? So that happens to you. So just like let it go. You really have to let it go. You have to let it all go and just try to find what brings you joy in art.
I like that. I have one more question. So this one is it may require you to create on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
What is your life like at 80 years old? What does it look like?
That is less than 30 years away from me right now, because I'm 50. I'll be 52 in May. So that's 78 years away from me. I mean, not 78. That's 28 years from me. So at 80, I have no fucking idea. I hope I'm alive. I may just drop dead tomorrow. Who knows? I have no idea. I mean, it's kind of like, I always make jokes to say, if I've been a good another 20 years, I'll be good. My stepdad is 85.
Okay.
I look at him, and he's slowed down a lot. He's lost a lot of weight. Some dementia is kind of hitting in there. Some days he knows who I am. Some days he knows who I am. It's a crapshoot. And I look at myself, I don't want to live that way. I just don't want to. I mean, I'm a person, I want all my faculties, I want my wits about me. Then I think of my aunt, who is up of that age group, and she's on it. She is just whip smart, just still moving around, friends, just doing everything. So James Lott Jr. at 80, I figure I'll still be doing all this. I'm never going to retire. James Jr., I'll be still plugging myself, and follow me on TikTok, blah, blah, blah. And, I got my new album come out tomorrow, new song. James Lott Jr., my dream is to just drop dead during one of my performances. Be like, after I finish it, of course, I'm like, you can follow me at James Lott Jr. And that's it. I think you could wheel me into a studio, I can still host. I mean, I just feel like that's, in general, that's my life. I just think James Lott Jr. is not going anywhere until he has to go. I mean, I think I'll be doing this for the rest of my life. And that's a great question, but I don't know. That's my answer. I don't really, it's going to be doing this, probably doing interviews and cussing people out. I don't know. That's what we're doing at 80. I'll probably be more on. I'll probably be a great grandfather by then. Ugh, who knows by then? My kids keep procreating. I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's it. And fighting with my brother, probably. I mean, I don't know. I mean, he'll be 78 and I'm 80. So that's not going to happen. Yeah, and still looking for love, probably. I can't find anybody. It's crazy. That's going to be my life at 80 years old, Mike Brown. I don't know. I mean, it's writing my 20th album. I don't know. That's what I was going to be doing, I guess. I mean, okay. You know me. I'm a workhorse. I'm just going to go on for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. You didn't expect that answer, did you? You're like, mm-hmm. But James Lott Jr. You know how I am.
James, can you tell people where they can find Fairview Heights and also where they can find you?
Yes. So all of my audio dramas. So Fairview Heights, I'm going to tell you which ones are out now. Fairview Heights, Manchester Avenue, Cupid's Crossing, The Easter Hare, Mistletoe Row, Claws the Series, and Forever a Day are available on every audio streaming series you can think of, platform you can think of. So, I mean, you're talking Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Apple, Google, it's everywhere. So you can go there and find those. The rest of my video work, all of my shows and things I do, my online network is JLJ Media. And that's on YouTube. Go to YouTube/JLJ Media. Subscribe, follow, and I have over 35 shows from soaps to Star Wars, from insurance to life coaching and everything in between. Go ahead and subscribe and see what I got. I may have something for you on there. So left-handedness, grandparents, I have everything on there you can choose from. So that's what I do there. My books are all on Amazon. I have 40 books, and they're all on Amazon. They're James Lott Jr. I'm a international best-selling author. You can find all of my books, ranging from series to actually self-help books. They're all on there at James Lott Jr. My music is everywhere you can stream and buy music, from Amazon to Spotify, SoundCloud. I have a new song coming out tomorrow called Procrastination. And I have a new song with my group J2, our friend James Woods and I, coming out on Friday. There's another one coming out, and that's coming out. So I have music coming out all the time. But just follow me at James Lott Jr. there. And then, of course, you follow me on TikTok. I have a viral video that makes me sick. It's at around 10 million views right now that everybody's talking about. But you can follow me on there. It's at James Lott Jr. You can see what all the fuss is about on that too. And then, of course, on all social media platforms, where all James Lott Jr. is sold, at James Lott Jr. on all social media platforms. Now it's tomorrow.
James.
Now it's tomorrow. Now it's the next day. You know, things I do. Thank you, Mike Brown. I love it. Y'all come on your show anytime. You know, last week on your show, I got a lot of great response, actually.
That's cool.
People were actually messaging me. I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, I think you have a lot to share, and I think, like I said, your vulnerability is always helpful. Like, even for me, just hearing your journey as an artist is inspiring for me, because it's things that I'm working on and working through that I'm like, okay, you know, I don't have to worry about this. I can focus here and not worry about anything outside, and I don't have to worry about, you know, fitting into a box. And because you represent that, so I really appreciate that.
And, you know, thank you for saying that. Forget boxes. And if I can do it, Mike Brown, you can do it also. I don't owe the key or anything. I'm not magical. I'm not a unicorn. If I can do it, you can do it. And I say that to you and to all other people, content creators of color. Do not be afraid. Do it.
I appreciate that, James. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank y'all for listening. This is Mike Brown, and this is The Art of Letting Go. Peace. Thank y'all for tuning into this week's episode. If you would like to support the show, you can subscribe to us on Anchor, you can subscribe to us on Patreon. You can also subscribe to this podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Let your people know. Let everybody know what you think. Leave a comment. Leave me a voicemail. Let me know what you think about the show. If you like it, if you don't like it, what'd you think about what we were talking about? We got some cool merch, and also we got a website coming soon that is going to house everything in one place. So be on the lookout for that as well. It's The Art of Letting Go. Peace.